ever read a poem which is quite direct, described using simple language? Actually, a genre of poem known as imagism, imagist, poetry. So let's get into it. Back with another poem analysis. The name of the poem is The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens. That's it. That's the poem, guys. That's the poem. Done. Let's just ho gaya. Like, share, comment and subscribe. So yeah, that's the poem. That's the poem. If you can see the poem, it says so much depends, next line, upon, next line, the red wheel, next line, barrow, next line, glazed with rain, next line, water, beside the white, next line, chickens. What is this line? What is this line? It's a simple line talking about a wheelbarrow, simply saying there's a wheelbarrow glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens. That's it. Form of poem which is known as imagist poetry, where the poet is trying to conjure up an image and a very direct as to what it is there. It's not like usually what are poems? They are like symbolic, metaphorical, use so many tools. Why is that done usually? Usually to create a deep impact, because it sort of makes you think. In poems, what is the usual theme? That it's full of symbolism, metaphorism, there are many tools used, and in a way sort of tickle your brain a bit, tickle your mind a bit for you to think, pause, read through it and then absorb it, right? Go through it, try to read between the lines. That's one form of poetry. Now in this poem, in this type of poem, it is that it's simply stating what is there. Like I can say that my phone is open in front of me, the camera mode is on and it's on video. I am recording, my laptop is here, my poem is opened here. Simply what is there, I'm telling. I read this poem. It was like, I thought it's missing some of the lines. There's some error on the page, probably the display page. That's what I felt. It was like, and I read, then I realized, okay, it's a very short poem. Okay, I read, it ended. I'm like, what am I supposed to look at here? Then I first searched about the author of the poem a bit, because I wanted to understand, because this was the first time probably I've come across such a poem, and it is interesting, which is known as an imagist poetry, which is, as I said, just talks about the thing directly, right? So it's a very succinct way, but if you now read between the lines, you'll get to know a lot of things. The first thing that he says, so much depends on a wheelbarrow. First thing first, what is a wheelbarrow? Wheelbarrow is an instrument. It has like, I think, 3 wheels. It is used to pull, usually keep sand or mortar. Wheelbarrow is used in agriculture and construction. In gardening, so to say, nowadays, where the gardeners, you can pile up all the wood, the weeds, the grass, the dirt or any other small load, and then you can pull it. Okay, so that's what a wheelbarrow is. In those times and even today, it's a very important instrument, as I said, for construction, for agriculture, for gardening, right? Which involves a lot of labor work, where the most important is the very first line. So much depends. So much. He's not saying, even though it's a very small poem, 2-3 liner poem, but it is literally, the poet is saying that, you know, it's the wheelbarrow, my dear friends, is very, very important. He is being sentimental towards, he is being tender towards, he is assigning wheelbarrow an importance, that so much depends on a wheelbarrow. So he is taking stock of an everyday item people rarely notice, like it's present. You might have also seen it. Nowadays, people like who are living in multi-storied buildings, you wouldn't know about it. What is being done, you're not involved in gardening. If you are, then probably you'll know, but if you're not, then you wouldn't know about this object. The poet is pausing to take stock of a common everyday item, and he is saying that so much depends on it. So he says that it's glazed with rainwater. So glazed is that, if you want to look at the meaning of glazed, in terms of usually the glazed, when I have read it, usually in your books and novels, is that glazed a person's eyes are glazed, like where you feel sleepy, right? So your eyes have this glazed, glassy look. But in terms of skin, the closest one which I could relate to it, because in the context of it, was where you say a glazed look on your skin or a glazed donut, right? It's shiny, right? Translucent, shiny sort of a thing. So I think that's what he meant for the wheelbarrow, that it had recently rained, so it was glazed. It had that glazed look. So it means that it has recently rained, and he's saying that beside the white chickens. Usually when chickens are described, they are described as noisy, fluster. In this case, it simply says white chickens. Nothing else. White chickens. Which means that the chickens too are quite quiet in this moment. The wheelbarrow is standing, it cannot be used. It has this glazed look because of the rain. It holds rainwater. Cannot be used, right? It sort of points to the quietness of the moment at this particular point in time. And as I said, so much depends on. It's a quieter assertion than it should be, right? So he doesn't say that, my family depends on the wheelbarrow, or my everyday needs or my gardening needs depend upon wheelbarrow. He says so much depends on the wheelbarrow. It means that it's not being referred in a personal context. It's been referred in a larger context. And as I said, coming back to the fact of gardening, construction, agriculture, it's like, if you want to read into it in that sense, it's like the civilization depends upon the wheelbarrow. Because these things, gardening, construction, agriculture, are important parts of the civilization. They lead to the economic development. They are the everyday for your food sustenance and for your living. So even if it softly suggests, but it suggests that it's so important. So the fact that the poem it's a short one, but it sort of drags it out, sort of like a meditative way of looking at it, of the assertion, of the importance of an everyday object which you just everyone overlook, creating a thoughtful and a reflective state. As I said, these are the means of survival for any civilization. What does a wheelbarrow represent? It represents the laborer, who is an overworked laborer and an underpaid laborer, who does so much, who you feel that it's a mindless task that he's doing, just putting up bricks, making a building. There's no mind to it. There's nothing to it. It's a labor task. It should be cheap. It should be just like that. So the wheelbarrow represents an entire community, and the poet is trying to get our attention to it, through it, trying to say that, look at it. Something which is for the entire economic growth, for your daily sustenance, house, roof, gardening, agriculture. And yet we as human beings, we forget about it. We don't value it. It's even now, right? That's what's the case. Like for example, the person who carries the garbage, who comes to your house, collects the garbage and takes it away. The work is menial, or you don't like the work, or you feel that, oh, okay. But the day they go on a strike, the day they take a holiday, it's then that you realize the importance of it. For me, I feel that that work is above anything. If someone is coming and cleaning your house, they should be treated well, if nothing else. Basic respect, wonderment, so much depends on them. So I think that's just about it. That was my analysis of it. I went through, as I said, I saw this tool which is an imagist poetry. I'll just read about it a bit. Imagist poetry is a genre of poetry that was first published in 1972 by Peter Austin Jones, who also edited it. The three main principles of imagist poetry are direct treatment, use relevant words, musical rhythm. The poem should directly treat the subject, which is done here, right? The wheelbarrow is being directly presented to you, whether it's subjective or objective. Use relevant words. You should only use words that contribute to the presentation. So he simply says, wheelbarrow is there. So much depends on the wheelbarrow. It's a red wheelbarrow. It's standing beside the white chickens, and it's glazed with rainwater. Musical rhythm. The poem should be composed in a musical phrase sequence, not in a metronome sequence. Let's just search what is metronome. It's like, so yeah, usually that AABB format, I guess that's what it means. That's what it seems to mean. It's a gist, so the way it was presented. So yeah, there is another poem by, there's another poem by the same author. I'm going to present that next. So I'm going to take up that next. It's also a good one. It's a short one again. But yeah, so that's just about it. I think we can go, like as I said, poems, even though in this poem everything was directly presented and more or less I feel, yeah, probably this is what he meant. But even then, poems have this way of, you know, you can interpret it in your way. Its beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. You can understand it's subjective. You can get from your own interpretations about it. So I think that's just about it. So let me know in the comment section below, what did you think about this poem? What did you think about this tool? What are the other such tools used? Enlighten me, enlighten others. Probably I'll pick that up. Suggest me some poems which I should analyze, which I should go through, which I should present with you guys here, which you would like to see me go through on this channel. And let me know how you like my analysis. Till then, like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel.